See, well, if this actually works. Is it working, Pod? Well, I don't know, Dan. What do you mean? What is going on here, Pod? Well, I don't know. That's strange. Okay. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm having... Okay. All right. Now it seems to be working. I think. Can you guys hear me at all? And it's buffering. Okay. Very strange. Okay. And the other thing is, let me know this orientation for those of you who are on phone, especially. Is it portrait mode right now? Because that's what I was trying to do on purpose this time, just to see how you guys liked it. Okay. I sat here and talked to myself for a good 5 or so minutes, by the way, and I was live, but I apparently was not live. 1 second here. I need to for now, I suppose. It is still buffering. Oh, that's very annoying. Hold on, I will turn down the bitrate maybe. I'll turn down the frames per second. And we'll drop the bitrate. Okay. All right. Hopefully that worked. Yeah, my bitrate is really just going down. That's strange. I have a great connection. I have 2 gigabit fiber, but apparently right now we're having some sketch connection issues. Let me just see if it changes outside. So, Chihuahua dogs. Yeah, okay, the spit rate is really struggling. It should actually improve outside. Maybear's out here waiting for us. Well, that's a pain. So yeah, anyway, I was sitting there talking to myself for like 5 minutes. And I realized that the stream was broken. So yeah, I need to gather my thoughts here. I basically just spent the last 35 minutes chasing a random husky down the streets. Where's Porter? Oh, I think he's back. Yep, he's already going back into the shed. By the way, the dog I take, I have discovered the best way to catch dogs, random stray dogs, is to bring your own dog, as long as you know there he is. And my dog of choice, for catching strays is Holy Dog. For some reason, all dogs seem to just be drawn to old Polly Dog. Who can blame them? Polly Dog doesn't know poopa. Yeah, if only the squirrels were attracted to you as much. Oh, Maybear. So anyway, we're here with Polly Dog, Maybear, Sweaty Dad Andy, and Porter. Well, hi. Dad thought you were going to tell him about some new Chihuahua. What are you talking about, Dad? Porty Dog. So, we are currently fostering 3 Chihuahuas. Their owner had to go to hospice. Oh, Maybear. I should have brought out some toys for Maybear. Her owner, so their owner went to hospice and they had to surrender them to the Humane Society. Well, let me see if I can get a good angle here. 2 of them are males and they're intact, of course. That seems to be, everybody just leaves their males intact around here. And they're at my wife's clinic right now. So they are getting their, they're getting snipped today. So we just have the female. And her name is Snowball or Snowflake. So their names are Snowball, Snowflake, and Rambo. I call Rambo John. And I just went down there. I'm going to show her to you guys for sure. But all 3 of them are extremely timid. Like, we've only ever known our own owner kind of timid. By the way, airplanes, unfortunately. They're a part of the show when we're outside. Sometimes it's nice and quiet out here. Sometimes we're just non-stop airplanes. Polo. But these 3 Chihuahuas are just so Rambo, John Rambo, as I'm calling him John Rambo, not just Rambo. Yeah. I think he's 7, and then the other 2 are around 5, and they all look very much like Polydog. They have that Polydog style to them. That should be some kind of name. I always just call it like the Jack Russell Chihuahua, even if it's not technically Jack Russell Chihuahua. But yeah, I will go down and check them out in a minute here, just Snowball. But the reason I kind of ran out here is because the Wi-Fi apparently was kind of struggling. And at 5 my time, so it's 4:20 here right now, I will go out and my wife will be home, so we will see the other 2. Whew, it's hot. For those of you who actually live in like normal places, this temperature probably wouldn't be hot. It's like 80 degrees here, but for us who we live in like 7 months of winter, this is blazing. Okay, I can start looking at comments here a little bit before we go down. Yeah, I can't even imagine. Hey, Barbara, Marlene, cats are the best people. I ask you, okay, so Turbo M Master, I ask you as an expert, is it true Chihuahuas are not descendants of wolves, but some foxes? And if so, are they technically still dogs? Well, I will tell you right now, I'm not a master of anything when it comes to breeds. I actually know a whole lot about the breeds, the history of pit bulls. But not so much on Chihuahuas. I have read on it, but I don't remember all the details. I would be very surprised if they were, if they came from wolves, though. Well, what do you mean? Well, what do you mean? I feel like that was kind of underhanded insult to me. Well, Porter, Porter, I know you can take a wolf any day. Well, I know. Did you name Porter after the Johnny Cash song? Although I do listen to Johnny Cash. No, actually my wife named Porter. My wife is the one who actually originally adopted Porter. At the time, I was not into Chihuahuas, as some of you may know. I was, just a large dog person. I was your typical hater of Chihuahuas. Because, you guys know why. We've all, unfortunately, met too many feisty Chihuahuas in our lives, and we blamed the breed instead of the owners. It didn't take me very long to realize that they're just dogs, and you can you can tell the difference. Well-trained Chihuahuas versus a lot of other people's Chihuahuas. Well, I'm a good dog. You are a good dog, Porter. Please let me know, everyone. If you ever see quality issues or anything kind of funkiness, always let me know. I hate when I go back and I realize 10 minutes went by and I was just completely choppy. Let's see. He used to be a Chihuahua. Yeah, I had mostly shepherds and shepherd mixes for a very, very long time. Yes, 2%. The original live ended. It was messed up, so I had to make a new one. Yeah, and some people, the funny thing about me is that you'll hear me speak about things in a certain way, especially when I talk about people who are not training their dogs in the way that I like or whatever. When I say that, I don't always mean that in the harshest of sense. This is the way you need to do it. It's just, by my... What are you here, Paw Dog? By my standards, Oh, Mama's home. Pooty doosh. Poopa. Mama's home, Poopa. Maybe we're live streaming right now. I would come up, Polly. Okay, I would come up there, Polly. All right, here we're gonna do discipline time. Polly, hey, Polly, no bark. We're not barking right now, Polly dog. Pooba, but Polly. At the moment I start doing her voice, she starts barking again. Oh, you're gonna bring him back? Okay. No, that's fine. Okay. So here's... No, you can bring him through here. Are you not worried that they could find a way out? You talking about the dogs here? Our dogs? This backyard's pretty secure. They also wouldn't get out. You could see that. I have no fear at all because they won't wander and they have high recall. But the other thing is that I am out with them almost 100% of the time. I don't always stay out with May because she's May, but
May.
Okay. How are you going to discipline with all that laughing? That's a good question. And that's the problem, right? I'm strict, although I'm strict with puppies especially, but when it comes to these two, I'm just my habits of being strict are still there, but I'm not always great about it. Okay, May's tail's getting in there. Okay, this is Snowflake. Snowball. Okay, this one's Snowball. Hi there, and he's a boy. He's 5.
Yes.
And okay, May Bear's tail is a thing. Airplane. Well, hi. Hi, Snowball. Well, just want you to know that, well, I'm kind of a big deal around here. And, well, you gotta listen to me. I know they probably gonna think that you need to listen to my dad. But, well, I'm kind of the guy in charge. Porty dogs. Porty dogs will like you as long as you chase squirrels with her. And then this is John Rambo. Okay, Porter. Sorry, I had to make up Porter real quick. Well, always giving me a lot of kisses. Well, what do you mean? Me. May has to. So when Mom comes home every day, May has to sniff her like crazy because she smells like other dogs. Well, I am a big deal. And yeah, anyway, back on. So this is why it's hard to actually make YouTube videos, because there's always just too much craziness going on. And I'm not a very focused human being. Rambo. So they just got neutered. They got neutered earlier today, I would imagine. And I also imagine they're both on ketamine right now. Are they on ketamine?
No.
Oh, they're not? Okay. Well, something else, I guess.
Just, yeah. Hydro.
Oh. So I guess that's why they're not loopy. Hi. So, alright, Maybear. Let's hear. So their story, Porter? We gonna tell their story, Porter? 2% wants to know. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean about my story? About all those times where I fought all those coyotes? And, well, no one wants to ever hear about that. I fought like 4 coyotes at the same time, and, well, they had chainsaws for teeth. And, well, I didn't even have my sweater on, it was really cold. But, well, I still won. Well, I know, Porter. We all believe you. Well, why you say it like that? I feel like, well, you don't actually believe me. Well, we do, Porter. We really believe you, Porter. Well, all right, Dan. Well, all right, we're going to talk about John Rambo and, well, his friend Snowball. And, well, apparently, well, their mama, I think it was their dad, actually. Well, when he had to go to the hospital. He had to go to hospice, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And their mom is quite elderly and also, like, couldn't care for them.
Okay, so the dad had to go to hospice, and the mom is also very old and could not care for them. And so they ended up surrendering them to the Humane Society. And we didn't really, or at least we thought we didn't need to take them in at first. But once we got them here, we were like, okay, maybe we did need to take them at least for a little bit, because they are just extremely terrified. Especially the Snowflake downstairs one. I came down there and she just like lost it, and I'm talking to my wife right now, sorry guys. She lost it, like was extremely terrified of me, and she like peed all over the floor in like terror peeing. So that's a big issue. I believe that this one, Snowball and Snowflake, they have some littermate syndrome. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of littermate syndrome. It's kind of a, if we're gonna, I guess it's called a dog psychology term, where people will adopt littermates. And Rambo's still not going to look at us. Rambo's the most confident one, by the way. When you adopt littermates, and they're too bonded to each other, if you don't like correctly socialize them, you will have a hard time getting them to listen, obedience training, that kind of stuff. You'll have a really hard time with that. And you also have a hard time with, situations like this, when they get into if they have to be surrendered by their owners. Thankfully, we are in the position where May's going to ask if they want to play. We're in the position where we can get them adopted as a bonded pair. But it's just unfortunate. I find it very frustrating because if you don't do it right with the littermate syndrome dogs, it can really be hard on them. Like, they can just not be very human friendly or just generally afraid of humans. Okay, May Bear. Tail.
I'm gonna take off.
Shit. Okay, you can
Brinley
leave.
has dance, so.
Okay, Brinley has dance, so my wife is leaving us. Let me just catch up here a little bit. Sharon, thank you, Sharon. Sharon says, hello, you have a wonderful summer with all the babies. Boop Polly for me. Booty dogs. Boop. Poopa. Thank you very much, Sharon. I guess I'll be the YouTuber real quick, and which I never do. I don't monetize my YouTube in the way that so many channels do. Like, I'm not selling anything, all that kind of stuff. So, stuff like super thanks, donations, helps keep us going. And yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we appreciate it. I am not a salesman, though, and I will never I will never sell anything because I don't like that. It cheapens my relationship with the audience to me. Polydog says, Polly is offended you request that. Sadly, bonded pairs are harder to adopt out. Yes. Mighty Mina said, yeah, they are quite a bit harder. And just, in general, man, we have seen so much sketchiness with adopted pairs, to the point where we really, I would say almost that we're always skeptical about bonded pairs, right? Because we've seen, do I have to tell the story right now? Let's tell it. What we have seen far too many times is someone adopts a bonded pair and they keep one and then either neglect the other one, or they keep one and then they just take both of them home and then just let the other one roam off on its own, right? Anyway, that's a whole topic. That's not to say that always happens, of course. But it's very frustrating. Potty dogs. Poopa. My wife kind of left me in a bit of a predicament here. I guess I can just sit here with them. Instead otherwise I'll have to get up and take them downstairs. But they should be good here right now. It's very nice out, so especially here. Christine, thank you very much for the super thanks. I'm really sad that John Rambo doesn't want to talk to you guys. He was the one I was excited about to get on stream, because he's a wild man. John Rambo, how you doing, John? How you doing, John? I know, buddy. Yeah, like I said, he's the most outgoing. Poor guy. He's like, I just lost something very important to me today. Are all three littermates? So Snowball and Snowflake they are from the same litter. Rambo isn't. He's like 2 or 3 years older than the other ones. But, they all live together their whole lives, so. But we could definitely tell that the other two were littermates, because the moment we opened all 3 carriers, Snowball and Snowflake went in and laid together, and we could not. They were so inseparable that they wouldn't even leave to pee or poop. So we had to actually, we realized this probably 15 hours in after they got here. We realized that these two have not peed or pooped. So we actually had to, leash them and pull them out, which is not something we usually have to do. And yeah, they both, when we did that, when they both came out and they both peed, thankfully. Cats are the best people. No need to be a salesman. You and your wife do wonderful work. It speaks for itself. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sharon Gaines, lemon character, laughing out loud. Oh, I like how it tells me lemon character and not the actual emoji. Or maybe, yeah. Sylvia says, I have a pair of Chihuahua mixes that had to be adopted together. Spock likes everyone, Lily hates everyone. They love each other. Aww. Rambo is his own man/dog. He is. Oh, it's unfortunate. We'll have to get one. We'll have to get a stream with him when he's feeling better, because he's a weird dog. He's weird. But he's funny. Funny kind of weird. Airplane. Maybear. There's an airplane out there. Marlene says Rambo is not speaking to you after what you did. It wasn't me. It was all these hands, these old fat hands. They couldn't do that surgery. My wife's the one with the surgeon's hands. The IRC police's new dog. Yep, we have 3 new fosters. Barbara says, adopted pairs. Why is it that animal shelters suggest 2 kittens when adopting? So if it's an animal shelter where I'm the one doing any with any influence, we don't do that. In fact, I, in most cases, strongly suggest that kittens, once they hit their, right at the end of their critical socialization period, I think it's best, at least for the kind of kitten, kind of cat that I want, the best thing to do is to remove them from their siblings, at least for a couple weeks, just to bond with humans. And same thing goes for dogs. It's not quite as strict of a rule for dogs, but same thing. Helps a lot if you make sure that they're bonding to humans and not other dogs. You will notice those dogs are much better with humans in the long run. Maybear, great example. I wish you guys could see her siblings. We've met a couple of them, and the dramatic difference between them and May is just so, they're wild and they don't listen at all to the humans, and yeah. Let's see if we get where Porter. What do I mean? Porter, we want to see your pretty face, Porter. I'm not sitting on this ground getting ants on me, all over me for nothing. Well, what do I mean? Well. Oh well. You're a good boy, Porter. Well, you're a good boy. Porter's been kinda down lately. He's going through one of his moods, so it's part of why we haven't been making a ton of videos. Well, I haven't been happy. Even though it's summertime, he hasn't been happy. Kathleen says, May is so precious. You have trained her very well, Andy. Thank you. I, one thing I have, maybe it shows I'm insecure or something, but I don't get enough credit for my training. People always tell me how lucky I am to have a good dog like me, and I'm like, there is no luck involved. But yeah, I try to remain humble on this topic. Maybe. Booty douche. Poopa, stop gloating, Poopa. No. I will say one thing. Generally, okay, yeah, that's a little close. Generally speaking, the whole 2 Chihuahuas and a Husky thing it's good. It's fine. But one thing I will tell you is that it is hard to walk these 3 together. Because they are just all over the place. And unfortunately, I have to leash walk the Chihuahuas now because of where we live. So they're like, oh, we hate this. Thank you, Tracy. Oh, Pody Doosh. May, of course, is gonna. Turbo Master says, when you think about it, Porter looks a lot like Ren in real life. I'd never really watched that show. I am aware of it, but I remember when we first had him, people were stopping us on the street and saying, like, he looks like Ren. I'm like, Ren? What are you talking about? I was like, oh, Ren and Stimpy, wow. I hadn't even thought about that show in decades. Okay, May Bear. May, can you sit? Or drop? Oh, let's see if we can get this one on camera. May, you better drop. Good girl. There's serious dad. Serious dad. We'll throw May some toys. K-May says, you deserve so much credit for what you do training all these babies. Thank you. It's a lot of work. I do a lot of it for free. May, can you drop? Don't take advantage of me looking at the camera. That's my rule, by the way. I'm a drill instructor. When they're puppies, I'm a drill instructor, as much as I can be anyway. And so that way, when they are adults, you don't have to really train them a lot. May, can you drop, please? May? Oh, I have to deepen the voice. May, can you drop? Good girl. Don't make me do my man voice, May. Oh, May. Thank you, Starseed. May Bear. I must have done something weird with this chat. I can't see. Or I'm like seeing too much chat right now. And not enough screen. 2% said I used to have 3 dogs, a Bichon, Terrier mix, and a pit. I used to get stares. Yeah. Doing larger breed with smaller breeds, walking is very awkward experience. That's for sure. I have a hard time because they all want to move around too much, so then they keep crossing each other's leashes. No, May. Squeak the squeak in your Jack Russell. Jack Russell, by the way, if I could choose, which I'm not allowed to choose, right? Because we kind of just we adopt dogs based on who we meet, we adopt mostly, except for May, who we foster. But a Jack Russell would be awesome, as a good small dog. Me, can you drop, please? Me? I'm covered in hair now. Kathleen says, here's a random question. Do pitties lick people incessantly? I you guys don't get me going on pit bulls. You guys will get me canceled. Okay, maybe. Oof. These ants are all over me. I have had pit bulls before, but I don't know. My position on pit bulls is very nuanced, I guess, so I don't tend to talk about it. But let's just say I lean on the anti-pit bull position, maybe. Not, I don't know. I couldn't tell you the solution to what should happen with pit bulls. But at the very least, I do wish that owners had to, be like licensed or something. But yeah. Maybe this is what May does, by the way. She likes to just sit and watch all the people. Tracy says I couldn't walk multiple dogs. Legs get tangled. Yeah. No, it's hard. Even in my case, it's hard too because the Chihuahuas, because of their off-leash training, I'm going to just bring these two over here with me. Oop. Okay. Because of their off-leash training, we didn't really use leashes much in the past. And so they're used to being a little more free. But now we live here. We don't live in that completely dead area anymore. So I don't off-leash. And yeah, they hate it. But anyway, sorry, to answer the question. Like I said, pit bulls are, oh man, they can get me off topic so easily. But to answer the question, I would just say that dog licking in general, there's always a specific reason for it. I would really need context. But like in Porter's case, he's a big groomer, right? So he licks everybody. He licks Polydog's eyes. He licks my head when I'm having a bad day, stuff like that. Tries to lick my nose. Well, what do you mean? He's a nose cheese farmer. Okay, all right. Let's go quickly. Let's go see the other Chihuahua dog. Oh, I need my allergy meds. Make sure no cats get in. 7 cat. Uncle Frankel's. Hopefully we don't. The connection doesn't just die on us here. Oh, sweetheart. Oh. So, if you were still here when we were talking about her, hi. How did you even get that on you? Hi. She is just terrified. Hi. I know. Hi, sweetie. Very scared. She's been here for 2 days. But again, it comes down to that whole littermate syndrome thing that we're dealing with. now that she's alone, she's just like very terrified, or like, I really don't want to even come anywhere near you. But yeah, this is her. I probably am mixing it up. Snowball, Snowflake. I can't remember which one now. Are you your Snowball? But yeah, this is her. She's very sweet. She's the least aggressive of the three, or aggressive, quote unquote. But also just the most scared and shy. The kitty cats. Kathleen says, the pity I was around for 10 days is Sweet Doggy. Oh yeah. I mean, I know tons and tons of sweet pit bulls. And I've had one myself. But and that's what confuses that whole situation, that whole debate. Because there are a lot of, friendly ones where you pooped a lot, I see. Jeez, okay. Oh, sweetheart. Tracy says, I love Uncle Frankel's goatee. That was the first thing I noticed about him when I met him. Howdy dogs. Well. So many obstacles out here. Turbo says, would you take a dog from some unpopulated area, let's say abandoned farm, and try to save him, assuming he looks fine and wants to stay on his territory? Thought experiments today, apparently. So, if it was a cat, I would say wholeheartedly, yes, I would leave them alone. Maybe grab them and spay neuter. The problem with dogs is that they could be, it depends on where it is. If it's truly remote, I don't know. I would say if they were like in bad condition, if you had any reason to take them in bad condition, or they're harming someone or something, then absolutely you would take them in. Otherwise, I would say, in some cases you would leave them. But like with anything really, there's always going to be nuance to it. It just like depends. Well, if it was a Chihuahua or something like that, I would not. I would definitely take them, because, or depending on where it is too, but just because they're vulnerable, right? They're small. If it was here, you would definitely take the dog though, because our winters get so cold and they're so long that they would die in the winter. But if it was like deep in the heart of Texas, let's see. Oh, I have to. I should tell you guys the story, or I should rant about the story of May's first dog park experience. But I guess we'll just talk about this real quick. So, see what we're doing right now. With these really timid dogs, I will often do this. I'll do it with cats too, where if you can't fully trust them to just be out, because they might run away and hide somewhere or whatever the case, I'll just walk around with them in a carrier. I'll bring them with me. If I'm going to sit somewhere for a while, I'll bring them with me in the carrier and just hang out with me. And yeah, that helps get them comfortable with you. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about there. Oh, this maize water dish. In Texas, the desert, they die of heat exposure. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, true. Although, I don't know, Porter at least wouldn't admit that he would die of heat exposure. Well. Marlene says yes, since someone asked about May's story. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. This is one of those, I don't know if you... If you're aware of the video I made about the Chihuahua on a choke chain, this is one of those videos where I wanted to come home and just, yell and just be angry about it. Airplane. Poor Maybear. So, Maybear is now traumatized. Very traumatized. Where do I even begin? I guess we'll just tell the story. So, my wife one day we were bored on a Sunday, and she was like, "Oh, we should take May to the dog park," which we're like, that sounds like a good idea because, May doesn't get to be around bigger dogs a lot. So, we go there. And this is the way you interpret the story may depend a lot on your experience of dog parks. But one thing that drives me crazy at any dog park is when people, they don't keep track of their dogs. They just go and they sit somewhere or they stand somewhere, and their dog is like way down in the field. And they're just like doing whatever on their phone, not paying attention to what their dog's doing. So that's the first thing that drives me crazy. The second thing that drives me crazy is when you enter the dog park and your dog is immediately bum rushed by a million dogs, right? Dogs that are like jumping on your dog and all that. And so not only is that very annoying from the dog's point of view, but it's also very risky because what if I didn't lock the gate correctly behind me, right? And your dog is like running up into the little pen. Your dog could easily get out, right? And in this case, the dog park we were at was right next to a highway. So, yeah. We go into this place. We go into this dog park. The Chihuahuas were not in there with us. They were out with my wife. And immediately, poor Maybear is just rushed by, and we're going to talk about another thing that has been driving me crazy lately. They got rushed by some golden doodles. Or, I don't know, maybe they were labradoodles, I guess. There was a bunch of them. And these doodles just jumped all over her and scared her, and it was just a horrible experience. And the owners weren't even like, they were just like, oh, this is funny, right? And I was like, okay, well, whatever, we can ride with this a bit. And so I'm trying to get okay, just give May some space. I'm like, come on, May, let's go over here. But the doodles, there were 3 of them, just kept following her. And they, one in particular was just stalking her. And these doodles, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I am being kind of general. These things are like huge dogs. They're huge. And they're very high energy. Especially because, frankly, their owners are not high energy people who are taking them out. They just they basically abuse the dog park. To let their dogs, to do whatever they want all day. But they were just relentless going after May. And I was, I want to give May a chance to handle her own dog politics, right? At least in theory. But what I don't want to do is let poor May get terrorized. So I'm walking her around, and they're just following us, nonstop, following. One starts mounting May. starts trying to mount me and, hump her, whatever. And I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. When we're on the other end of the dog park, by the way, at this point. And the owners, there were three owners, airplane. And the owners were all sitting on benches, just sitting there chatting away, having a good old time, not even paying attention at all. And by the way, Maybear, there were a few points where she screamed. She just screamed in fear. So I even removed her from the dog park. I took her out and brought her back in to just try to see, okay, let's try to reset this. So finally, after I took her out twice, we come back in, and immediately again these doodles just coming after her. They're not attacking her, okay, but they're on her, jumping on her, and they're not listening to me, which, a great tip, by the way, is if you're out and you are around dogs that are unfamiliar, pretend that you're their owner. Sometimes it actually does work. So what I was doing was you get down now, you better get down. And, I was snarling at them and trying to use signals and stuff to get them off. But they were just on her. They're on her. This is a situation where if we were in the wild, if we were out in, somewhere, I would have kicked them to get them away from her, right? But we are in a dog park. So I'm like, okay, you know what we're going to do? I lost it. I turned around and I started screaming down this field to these three people. I'm like, you guys need to learn how to train your fucking dogs. And I went irate, completely. Sorry, I'm swearing. Let's repeat. Well, come on, Dan. Well, my dad's little man is going to start swearing. I went real hard on these people because I felt so bad for me. And I went over there and I started debating them and talking about dog training. That was a whole long story, but they were all just very they're just let your dog sort it out, man. We just let them deal with it. That's how dogs are. I was like, no. Listen, if my dog was at a dog park harassing another dog, I would take that dog away. What you're doing is lazy. You're just being a lazy trainer. And you're harming this dog as a result. Anyway, so I'm a very confrontational person. Ooh, very confrontational person, and I enjoy debate. I don't get offended in debates. I just actually it's actually very engaging to me. And I just went to town on these three. But they're just oblivious, and they're just, being defensive, whatever. They're not going to learn anything from it. But the best part about the story, the most interesting part, is that I was saying, I'm like, here's the thing, because I was pointing out everything that they were doing. I was like, we walk in, you let your dogs jump on my dog immediately. Then you're letting your dog stalk my dog. Then you're letting your dog mount my dog. Do you not realize that you're the reason a lot of people don't bring their dogs to the dog park? And literally 2 to 3 minutes after I said that, someone, a woman and her child, come up to the dog park with their dog. It was like an Aussie Shepherd kind of thing. They come up, they walk in, their dog gets just, mauled, right? And they leave. So I said, as I'm sitting here chewing these people out, I say to the person with the Aussie Shepherd, I say, hey, excuse me. And she came over, and I was like, why did you just leave? And she says, well, because I don't want to get my dog harassed. And I was like, yeah, thank you. And she was there with the other three people. And I was like, did you just hear what she said? You guys are literally preventing people from bringing their dogs here because you cannot train your dogs. And then the one person, she owned 2 of the golden doodles, which, by the way, are 1-year-old golden doodles. She said, well, I have bad knees. I don't want to walk around all around the dog park. And I was just like, well, frankly, why would you get like one of the highest energy, huge dogs if you have bad knees? Why don't you just get a Chihuahua or something, you know? Like, I'm not trying to be mean to you, person. I'm just adopt the Chihuahua. Adopt the dog that's best for you. Don't just adopt the dog because you like the shiny dog, you know? And man, anyway. So the whole point of that story is that poor Maybear is now afraid of large dogs. There's a 4-month-old husky puppy female around here, and the puppy will just try to play with her, and she will cower and shriek in fear. This was 3 to 4 weeks ago, by the way, that the dog park situation happened. So yeah, as you can imagine, I will not be going to dog parks anytime soon because I'm, just gonna lose it on these people. But it's just frustrating because poor May. The plus side is we found a small dog park and we went there, and as I walked up I was like, okay, I'm just gonna tell you guys this right now. I know it looks like I'm the guy who's bringing his big dog to the small dog park, but you have to see this. It's like a magic trick, and you guys haven't exactly seen it yet, but when May meets a small dog, she gets down, she lays down, she crawls, she gets on their level, and she submits to them, almost all of them. And it's like a magic trick. And it shows just how important it is when you have a dog, or not how important it is, how impactful it is to have a larger dog grow up with Chihuahuas or small dogs. So anyway, we at least had a good time there. And yeah, I just wish there was more you could do at those dog parks. Well, my dad didn't he didn't shut up about that for a good 48 hours. I was so fuming mad. I did not shut up about that for the longest time. And airplane. Lisa, so Rob's World, you're the pack leader. Your job to protect your pack. That's why dog parks are a no-go for me. Yeah. The last time I had even tried one was with Porter, and Porter got really overwhelmed too. They are bullies and lazy. Yeah, they're just complacent. They don't want to take their dog for a walk. They don't want to train their dog. They just want to sit there and, hey, go do your thing. Which I understand to some extent, but Ashrin says that's, your dog pees themselves because of, and that's, I wish I could go back in time on that one and just not go. That's all I can say. Kathleen says, that is so sweet, you trained May that way. And that was a big important thing to me, and that's why it upset me so much when we first adopted May, and people were like, she's gonna make your Chihuahuas miserable. I was like, no, you you guys don't know. You don't know me. You should know better than that. I wouldn't let Porter be miserable. Yeah, but the whole reason of going to the dog park is to interact with your dog, not socialize with people and forget your dog. Exactly. The dog park should be a time to train your dog, It's like it should be supervised activity, I would say. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I would be embarrassed if my dog was just like stalking someone and, you know, humping like constantly, that kind of thing. I would be embarrassed. Like, I guess maybe I take pride in dog training, and that maybe that's why. But jeez. Oh, mate bear. Would I ever take May, Porter, and Polly to the ocean? Like in the ocean? I would take them, you know, to the coast. Ooh, might be lagging right now. I would certainly take them to the coast and that kind of thing. I don't know about. We could go into the water. I probably wouldn't go very deep with them. We'll stick to our lakes and stuff. Rob's World says a Monty Python moment. No, for something completely different, Sappy update in the near future. I have not heard from Sappy's owner in quite a while. I did hear one piece of info in that she's now blacklisted from all of the vets in town because she reported her vet because of like the horrible job that they did. So every vet in town, which by the way, other than my wife at the Humane Society, every vet in town now where we live is now owned by a corporation. And there's a good chance that where you live, your vets are quietly being bought up by corporations as well. And it's something that's very strange to me because they do it very quietly. Our vets are all still called the same names, and they never reported outright that they are owned by corporations, but they all are now. And yeah, it's very very interesting. Let's see. Oh, Porter. This is just Porter sleeping. You guys are getting the real Porter experience here. You know, some people will say to me, does Porter ever stop moving? I'm like, oh, I would say he's 90% not moving. Oh, Porter. Well, I'm just gonna have a little nap. And I'm just listening to my dad talking. I don't really know who he's talking to. Well, he's probably talking to all my best friends. You're a good boy. Sylvia, oh, I did his voice. Sylvia Joe says, do Porter and Polly like to swim? My Chihuahua Archie is indifferent to water and just not interested. Is there some way I can encourage him to try it out? So the first thing, do Porter and Polly like to swim? Polly really does not like to swim. Porter won't swim unless I'm already like in the water. But I've had him. We swam together in a river 2 years ago. There was a really hot day, and I was out swimming in the river. And next thing I know, I see little Porter paddling his little legs. Well, day away Maine, and he came out and swam with me. I was a little scared of doing that because I have never done it with him, but he did well. But to answer your question, how? It depends on your dog. I will say, if your dog is like Polly Dog, it's an uphill battle. There are like long-winded training methods you can do to try to encourage them to swim, but unfortunately, like, if your dog isn't super interested in water just very naturally, it's hard to train them to get used to it. I believe, I can't remember. I watched a. There are a few good dog trainers that I like. Like if you've ever seen Victoria Stillwell, she does a lot of good videos. I forget, someone I was watching had a good video on how they train to swim, but it's, again, it can be hard and it can take a lot of time. In my case, I just, Polly doesn't swim, so I just don't, every once in a while, because I'm a jerk, I'll, take her out into the water a little bit just to try to see if she'll be like, yeah, maybe today she'll try it. But I wouldn't try too hard to force her. I know how you feel, though. I love water dogs, and I'm really hoping May is going to be one. I love water dogs. Well, Porter Porter must have a very hard day, and now he's showing it. He can't move day. I'm very tired. I'll eat some cheese and chicken. Well, we went on a 3-hour walk, and everybody, well, Porter wasn't tired, of course, but May and Polly were like panting up a storm. 2%. Tracy says, you take care, Andy, and good luck with Rambo Snowball. Missing a third, sweetie. Kisses to Porter and Polly. Take care, Tracy. 2%. Oh. All right. Everybody's leaving on me over here. Andy, I love that all your training is so low-key and patient. Well, thank you, Kathleen. Somewhat, you guys, I wish you could see everything that I do. It's all about the dog. I have a hard time giving training advice directly, because every scenario to me is like, okay, I need like a flow chart, right? Does your dog do this? Okay, well, do this. And does your dog do that? Do that. Some things are easier than others, but the way I would train, a dog like Porter versus the way I would train May, totally different. With Porter, we're talking absolute being gentle and being very, very, very slow with his training and what my expectations were, because of who he was as a dog and because of what happened to him, with his abuse and stuff. But on the other hand, a good example is May. I'm a drill, I was anyway, a drill sergeant with May. When you have a puppy, and you have a puppy that's living with small dogs, cats, a toddler, that puppy has got to be, you need to really grind out that training, and you cannot accept a ton of disobedience, right? And you have to do things that, like for me, I don't necessarily like to do. I'm not a control freak. But in that first 3 to 4 months, I have to leash them. With May especially, leash her all the time. She was on leash 70-80% of the time, and in the house, everything, because she's not allowed to leave my sight. Stuff like that, which I don't like doing that, but that was what I felt was good for her, right? And that's important. To always evaluate your best. Do your best to evaluate your dog and figure out what training is good training for them. Dog trainers like to give advice in a way, because they're usually selling you something, right? They're selling you their dog training kind of thing, their methods. So they'll give you advice that's very black and white, made, tailored for a mass audience. And I can't do that in good conscience. The other trainer I like to watch does the same as you. He holds them in the water and lets them swim back. Yeah, and that's Gail. That is controversial. Sometimes I've heard people get actually very upset at me. In fact, my wife's mother, or my mother-in-law, saw me do the whole, like, I bring them out into the water and let them swim to the shore. She was like, "That's so cruel," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, and in that case, that was just something that has worked for me in the past, and I was trying it out with them. It did not work with Polly, but it did work with Porter, so at least to some extent. Rob's World says, "That's crazy, blacklisted from all the vet clinics." Oh, WTH got banned from all the hospitals. Yeah, and man, they didn't even tell her outright that they blacklisted her from all of the vets. This is Sappy's mom, for those who are just joining. She was blacklisted from all the vets in town. They didn't even tell her. They just were like, "Oh, she called each place, and they're like, you can no longer come here." And then she found out through a receptionist that works at one of the clinics that she's blacklisted everywhere. Oh, me a bear. It's just a real messed up situation. Now she would need to go, like, because we live in kind of an isolated town, she would need to go like 11 to, I guess, 14 hours drive to get to a vet. So, yeah. Kathleen says, "I remember when May was on a leash in the house." Yeah. The best thing about the whole leashing them in the house when they're young is that it keeps them always with you. Most dogs, once they understand that you don't want them to pee in the house, they won't pee in front of you. So at the very, very least, having them on leash is good for that. They will eventually just get used to not peeing in the house, and it works. It's a very easy method. It's, well, easy in a way. And yeah, May's great. She hasn't pooped or peed in the house in a long, long time now. Vala Lee said, I always mess up your name. Vala Lee Bell. Has Porter had any of his episodes recently? Thankfully, no. It has been... He hasn't had one since last year. So, that's awesome. Because he used to have them, every few months, right? But he's pretty good right now. And I feel like over time, he seems to have them less. He still does have his, what I would call, depressive episodes, where he will just get really... He just doesn't want to be out in the open, doesn't want to socialize with anyone, and... Look at this. You guys can't exactly see directly, but usually when he does that, that's when we just kind of disappear for a couple weeks, which is what's happening right now, by the way. He's feeling a little bit better today, but for the last couple of weeks he's been pretty down. Well, May is his support dog. She really is. They have a funny relationship. His life has definitely improved since we've gotten May, though. I think he just likes being somebody's boss. I'm saying that as a joke, but also I'm serious. Because Polly would never allow him to be the boss, because Polly is a very dominant dog. Good night, Crimp. Ellen says, girl dogs seem to take to the toilet training faster than boy dogs, just my opinion, having both. Yeah, I would say objectively, not even just an opinion, I would say objectively, female dogs have on average, have an easier time potty training. Well, a lot of that just comes down to that penis. It comes down to that penis. Sorry, this is how me and my wife talk when we're talking about these kinds of issues. We're like, that damn penis gets those male dogs into trouble. Because they're always, they have that urge to pee. They have that urge to mark and all that stuff. And that's usually what the difficulty is. I just realized that I just was sitting there yelling penis out. So I apologize to anyone sitting in a public area. I have the worst image now in my head of people. I also just realized someone actually asked me this a few weeks ago. They asked in a lot of my videos, why don't I record myself like petting them and stuff like all the time? And I guess it's just going to random. You may have noticed that as well here on this stream. I haven't really interacted with them directly, but that's because it's actually I'm recording a video. I'm trying to keep this stable. I'm also like trying to talk to you guys, interact with you guys, and it's also just hard. Like let's just see, like if where Porter usually is, like right here, right, that would be blurry because it's too close to the camera. So that's why a lot of the times I'll just kind of sit back and record them. Yeah. We call it pee-pee. What is a penis? We know. We're all adults here. Statistically speaking, we're all adults here. We know the penis can bring down the best of us. The politicians, the handsome Chihuahuas. Well, what are you talking about there? Oh man. No, it's getting male dogs to stop marking in the house it can be rough. Especially if they're not neutered, like, within a reasonable time. And that's usually what it comes down to as well, by the way. If you don't neuter, it can be hard. Males feel that need to mark their territory. Yeah, they do. Well, it's a strong natural urge. We love our dogs, and I do it too. We anthropomorphize a little bit, sometimes too much in some people's cases, and we forget that dogs are animals, and they're just doing their animal stuff. Well, and people are animals too, and we're doing our animal stuff too. Kathleen said, "Is it true that female dogs should have at least 1 litter before they are neutered?" I assume we mean spayed. That would be a question for my wife. I could answer the question, but I would prefer. It's not something I am an expert in. I wish my wife was here right now. So my wife runs a spay, and so she works at the Humane Society, but the main thing she's doing is that she runs a spay and neuter clinic. So she's a big spay and neuter proponent. Um, 2% says, "Does Polly not like to be petted a lot? She always seems to be by herself." So this topic, this brings me back to way back in the day when we first started YouTube, and people used to, say, "Why aren't you petting Polly?" and all that kind of stuff. And here's the thing about this channel. This channel, and before Svetlana passed away, Flying Cat Svetlana's channel, I very much have a view of who is my star, okay? And it's like, it's just that's the way I manage it in my mind, if that makes any sense. So the reason, if I have a default character that I'm going to focus on, it's usually going to be on this channel. It would be Porter, right? That's when it comes to real life, though. I really honestly don't think a whole lot about the fairness of who is being pet. Because they kind of sorted out themselves. If Polly wanted to be pet, she would. Trust me, Polly knows how to get pets. Every night before I go to bed, you'd probably think Porter would be my bed buddy at night, but nope, it's Polly Dog. She'll come up and she gives me these little nose bites, and she flips to her back so that I scratch her belly. And there are nights where I fall asleep just scratching Polly Dog's belly, and I call her my Polly pillow. I will sleep with my head on her, which he gets jealous about, but Retro Studio, is there a new Chihuahua family member? We didn't adopt one, but we have actually 3. Sorry, that's when you do a live stream. I guess we are on 1 hour and 20 minutes. You run into that kind of situation. So we are actually fostering 3. I didn't think they'd be home when I started the stream, so well. Oh, we have 3 fosters. Their owner went to hospice, and they were surrendered to the Humane Society. So they're with us for a little while we just evaluate them. I was hoping that they would be a little bit better socialized so we could have some good Chihuahua fun, but I have a feeling we're not going to see that, unfortunately. As they're here, I think they're going to be just very scared. You were worried you might not spell spade correctly. Well, that's hey, if you spell it incorrectly, it's fine. It's fine if we all mix up things like that, spay, neuter, all that kind of stuff all the time. We're just humans. Do you think it's possible that Porter thinks he's in charge? I don't. No, I don't think Porter thinks he's in charge. I think Porter thinks he's in charge of me. But of Porter and Polly is the by far dominant of Porter. And in fact, I've seen them get into a couple of serious little squabbles, and Polly, you should see, she's fierce. She is fierce. She could whoop Porter real easily. And yeah, I've seen him submit to her before. 2% says, I miss Svetlana. I miss Svetlana too. A lot. Too much. Svetlana leaving has made life very hard. Marlene says, people used to say, let them have 1 litter and they would be a better dog. I don't think that's true. Yeah, and if we're going to, I would say it's generally not true. The only reason I hesitated to directly address that is because there is a lot behind it, and it's it's one of those situations where I would defer to my wife as the expert in this situation. I'm far more, I guess you could call me I hate talking about myself like this, but if I were to be considered an expert in anything, it would be behavior. Human behavior, cat behavior, dog behavior. I have a master's degree in counseling And I have decades worth of dog training, cat training experience. All that kind of stuff. Ooh, where's my water? May Bear, of course, knocked my water down. Polly just wants to be behind the scenes. And that's, unless there are squirrels involved, that is so true. In fact, right now, I don't even know her. On our walks, she always is like here. She's like always down here. And I often will be like, where's Polly? And I have to like look for her, but she's always there. Polly's a great dog. She is a great dog. Porter, of course, is my baby. But Polly dog I also love quite a bit. Oh, Porter. You're such a good boy. Let's see. Gail said, especially the males need to know that the house is yours. How long do they stay in the kennel before they can come out? With these Chihuahuas right now, so we don't leave them in these carriers like this when they're at the house. We have them, if you were there when I went down to the pen, we will put them in the pen, and and it depends. We are constantly reevaluating, but we will take them out and bring them outside on leash, stuff like that. Oh, mom's home again. Or is Brinley home?
Yeah.
Brinley's home. Oh, I'm gonna shadow you, Brinley. Hi, Brinley. Brinley just came back from dance class. Hi. What's going on? You're not talking? She's very silent. May. Apparently she's camera shy.
We talked to you on the phone.
You talked to me on the phone? Yeah, we're doing a live stream right now. I don't think she knows what that means.
We were watching the live stream. That's what she thinks.
Oh, they were watching the live stream.
We was watching you, Daddy.
Oh, here we can put my wife on the spot here on this one. Did you hear us talking about the whole like 1 litter before you spay thing?
No, I didn't. I just caught the end of it.
Does it change? I forget. Oh,
Does it change our behavior?
their behavior. Yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? That's the non-technical answer.
I don't think there's any science behind it.
Yeah, I have never witnessed it anecdotally, and I'm not aware of anything like research-wise. Oh, Brinley. It's become the Brinley stream all of a sudden.
Back to sleeping.
They said, okay, so Kathleen, she was the one who was talking about this. She said it was about health, not behavior. So we actually talked about this not too long ago. There are some, oh God, should we get into this? There is a lot of, let's just call it misinformation that is pushed by breeders. That is one of those things.
My puppy.
It's a complicated question because there are like a lot of different ways you can look at it, but generally the most general answer is there's no truth to that whole like health thing. But yeah, if my wife wants to say anything else specifically.
The most recent studies that are people cite are very flawed studies. So I think without like a lot of extra research and a lot more scientific studies, I don't think we can really go off those.
Out.
But that's what the breeders tend to latch on to, is like one study that was done with purebred dogs at a special vet school type situation where it's not the regular population of animals out there. So it's hard to take one breed of dog, so a golden retriever, and compare that to every other breed. So we spayed May while she was 4 months old. I have no problem doing that. I don't think it's going to change anything with her. I don't think it's going to cause her health issues to be spayed early, so that's why we chose to do it then. So I personally am a fan of spaying and neutering them before they go into heat, or before they mature in cases of males.
Yeah. I can't believe anybody deals with males, unneutered males. So yeah, there's our official answer, I suppose. The world is a strange place. You know, some of the myths that get pushed around.
Do you need some water, Brinley?
You know, everybody. One thing that people trying to sell you things
Some water?
really love for you to think is that you always need something. You know, you need CBD oil for, you know, cure or whatever. You need whatever, toothpaste for your dogs. You need a raw diet. You need to not. I've witnessed so much of this stuff. You need to not give them their shots, stuff like that. There are so many things that people who are trying to sell you stuff are going to tell you, and that's where a lot of those myths come from, and it is very unfortunate. Well, come on, y'all, don't begin. Well, we can't believe in them myths. It's hard though, right? Because a lot of, you know, at least there are a lot of us that we get a lot of our information from our friend groups, our social groups, you know, and when that gets tainted, when, you know, people spread information that's wrong, stuff like that, then it just becomes like truth. Then it gets really, the waters get pretty muddy. But yeah, that's one thing I can go on tangents about, is this. We have to always, someone's always telling us we have to take something to feel better, right? Or it's always like an external thing. If you buy this product, then you'll do this. And same thing when it comes to, let's just say the whole, like, getting your dogs their shots. Some people may be wondering, well, they're just telling you not to get shots, right? Well, doesn't that mean they're not pushing a product? But the people who are pushing the myths about your dogs getting their shots, those people are trying to sell you something. They're trying to sell you, you know, essential oils or whatever. And yeah. Anyway, I digress on this topic. Or not, I mean, we can talk about it either way. Sharon says, not a big fan of breeders. I rescued my boy cat from one and took a month. Ooh. Oh, jeez. Yeah, breeders. I suppose we should end it here. We're about 90 minutes in Brinley's home. Before I get going on the whole breeder thing. Anyway, I really appreciate you all stopping by and hanging out. Um, it's, I'm always happy when I am in the mood to stream. It means I'm usually in just a happy place. Brinley. Did I catch the husky? Yes, I did. I say that with a great deal of of pride. I'm pretty good at catching dogs. I learned years ago lots of strategies for catching dogs.
What are you doing, Dada?
Talking to people on the live stream. You don't really know what that is yet. Those are people who love Porter. And they watch Porter's videos. And I'm talking to them.
I want to see.
You want to see? Well, there's not much to see. It's just you that we're looking at right now. She's adorable. I hope some of you, there will be at least some of you who might stick with us, for years and years, and you'll see Brinley grow up. And I really hope that we influence her to be a big animal lover like us. And I hope you guys will get to see that someday. That's a father's wish. Brinley.
Like this. I want to do it.
Anyway, I guess we should end the stream now. Take care, everyone. Airplane. Well, bye, y'all. Well, we made the airplanes.